Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the ATMA podcast, where we give you the tips, tools, and strategies you need to be successful in growing your business. My name is Brian, and I'll be your host today. In this season, we are interviewing different business people around the DFW area and what they do, what kind of industry they're in, and what they're doing for their marketing and how they're growing their business, especially in today's world in 2022. Now, I know you haven't seen us in a while. It's been a crazy February. Rolando, wouldn't you agree it's been a freaking crazy February?
It's been pretty crazy.
Yeah, we're in March right now. We kind of went on a hiatus or whatever.
Yeah.
And the reason why is, we had freaking winter storms here in Texas. And just so everybody knows, we're not prepared in Texas, okay? So, if it ices over, yeah. So, I got a special guest today. I got Madeline from NuvoDesk Coworking. Now, it's not too often that we have a sponsor and a guest as a guest on our show. So, Madeline, say hello.
Hi.
She just laughed because it was like, yeah, we froze over in February. And then, all kinds of bad things happened in February. And I was just like, you know what? Let's just come back in March. Let's just come back on spring break, and when we're level-headed and we actually know what's going on in the world. So we're back. And we're here to talk about business. Now, the reason why I asked Madeline to be on this is she's worked very closely with Advent Trinity, and she has a lot of success stories with Advent Trinity. But before we get into all of that, of course, we have to say thank you to our sponsors. First sponsor is, of course, NuvoDesk Coworking for providing this awesome podcasting room. So NuvoDesk is a collaboration area type business where you can come and get an office, conference rooms. You can even use an event space or even this podcast room. If you want to do podcasts, visit NuvoDesk.com. And our other sponsor is the famous BFF Asian Grill and Sports Bar. Now, if you have never been to BFF Asian Grill and Sports Bar, it's pretty dang good. If you like pho, if you like wings, if you like Vietnamese food, you can visit bffasiangrill.com, check them out, and go to their restaurant right on Lamar. So now let's get into the show. Now, Madeline, I'm going to ask you a few questions, so don't be nervous or anything like that. No, you're not nervous, but welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do here.
Okay, so I work for NuvoDesk. I am the operations manager, so I handle everything in the building. So for any members who have any questions, comments, concerns, I make sure that I get it addressed pretty much immediately, and we make sure that everything is completely customized to whatever someone is needing. If you're just needing to be here for the day, for the week, we make sure that you get comfortable and that you get everything that you need during your stay.
Awesome. Sounds like a hotel.
It really does.
Office space hotel. So yeah, people sleep here. No, I'm just kidding. No, people. So I work with you. It's no surprise right now, right? I was just promoted to CEO of NuvoDesk. So it's not like I run Advent Trinity and NuvoDesk, right? But really, I don't run NuvoDesk. Madeline runs NuvoDesk. I just point them in the right direction, all right, and just oversee things. So Madeline, if you don't know, literally runs the show here and knows everything that's going on in this building at all times. And that's why I wanted her to be here, because she's probably got some really, really good stories, and of course about me too. So let's talk about the difference when you started with the company to now what it is today. Like, how was it when you started with the company?
So when I first started with the company, we were in a lot of ways very underprepared. We didn't have the correct vendors in place. We didn't have the right software, the right services. And so we were really trying to work really diligently to get it to where our members needed. For me, my background is completely in operations and in customer service. So what we had in place at that time was not really what our members needed. Regardless of it not being what we needed, it wasn't easy for them to do. It wasn't simple for them to look things up. And so we've changed basically all of our software, most of our systems, and we've seen a really big increase as far as what our revenue looks like. We went from being at 30% occupancy to we're currently at 93% occupancy, and we're almost at 95. So, we've seen a really big increase, and largely that was because you and I were working together.
Yeah. So tell me, like before, and we don't mind telling these to the listeners here.
Yeah.
You were around when you started. Wouldn't we say we're around 30 to 40,000 a month, right?
No,
Not even that?
It was 27,000. That was where
Ooh.
the numbers were at.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oof.
So
All right.
it was pretty rough. And this month, we are currently at 71,000.
Wow. 71,000. That's recurring revenue, guys.
Yeah.
So that's a big difference. Now, where do most of your leads come from?
Largely, honestly, this is all on ATMA side. So it largely comes from Google. You know, everything that we have is currently being tracked through HubSpot. So whenever we see any leads coming in, we get to see exactly where they are filtering in from. And it's all Google. Absolutely everywhere. We do have some walk-ins every once in a while. We've been getting a few more referrals, but largely everything comes in through Google.
Awesome. Now, as the revenue grows, right, allows for expansion. It allows for changes in software. So we're getting our own NuvoDesk Coworking app now. We're transforming the website. It's going to be a big difference, you know. So what would you say, like, because of all of this, right, have you had to spend a lot of times in marketing and sales?
More on the lines of like sales, but really it's, again, kind of going back to the customization of what our members need, but nowhere near the amount that I was assuming that I would have to. ATMA's great. It's really a white glove touch. It's been a really close partnership, and we've seen the difference astronomically, obviously.
Right. Well, I just want to let you know we're going to put that on the website, testimonial, right?
There you go.
Now, this is definitely a case study because we've been with NuvoDesk for now 2 years, right? Mm-hmm. And you probably don't know this, but the history of ATMA is with NuvoDesk. This is funny, all right? So we started with NuvoDesk before they even opened, okay? So we were an interim agency, okay? So an interim agency, we came in, we took care of the marketing at the very beginning, and then they were like, yeah, we found somebody internal, and then later down that road, they were like, all right, come back. So it's been a very funny relationship, but, you know, and it shows to tell, right, that if you have a strong foundation of a marketing team behind you, there's a lot of potential, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not here to toot my own horn or anything like that, but what I am trying to tell our users is, you know, you haven't had to focus solely on marketing. Pretty much the only thing that you do is inside the building, right? Like you guys put flyers and do events and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, we do weekly member engagement events so that we can engage with the members, so that we can give them little treats here and there. We try to have it usually be food-based. We've tried to do other events that are not food-based, and they get annoyed. They're like, where's the food? Exactly.
People love food.
They're like, hey, no food, no event.
Yeah, but it's, I mean, honestly, when it comes to all of the marketing, I haven't had to have my hands in it. I mean, my input is given maybe once a month, and then that's about it. So it makes it really easy for me to really focus on the operations side of what we need.
Right. And then, you know, that's the thing about business, right? So, and now a lot of people have heard, yeah, I run 3 companies. I run Advent. I help you run. I tell people I help Madeline. Right? I help Madeline run NuvoDesk Coworking, and then I run, Word Delivery. And people are like, how do you do it? And my advice to goes is, you have to have the right team, right? And you know, Advent Trinity, I'll be honest with you, it's not it's not the team for everyone. You have to have somebody you can confide in, and you know that you are a good fit for each other, right? And with NuvoDesk, immediately, you know, with the owner, we were a good fit. He liked us, he fired us, and then hired us again. And it's a funny story, but if he didn't like us, he wouldn't have hired us again.
No, he wouldn't have.
And you know, it took a learning curve, though. It really did take a learning curve. It took 6 months to really know what was needed for this company. And now NuvoDesk has been over for 2 years. It took 2 years to get to that percentage. And what I don't think a lot of it was obviously affected by COVID, right?
Yeah.
Because we opened in the midst of COVID.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
And so, you know, a lot of it was out of our control.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you think about it, though, and all those what we do want all the listeners to listen to is that the fact that it takes perseverance. It takes consistency. And I'm about to do a webinar, right? And my definition of marketing is the science of using creativity, analytics, and consistency. And the people, they know they want to know everything about the analytics. There's some people who are like, it doesn't make sense analytically. I have those people, right? And there's like, and then we have other people that are like, well, it's not creative enough, and it doesn't look good enough. And what they're missing, and it happens every single time, what they miss is you have to be consistent. It doesn't happen overnight. If you start 1 week and turn it off in 2 weeks, you did nothing for your company, right? And so you know, it took us 2 years, right?
It did take us 2 years, and honestly, I mean, COVID did cause a big hit to us, and I haven't been with us even a year, and we've seen a dramatic uptick in our revenue. But honestly, I mean, going from where it was, we opened right before COVID happened. It was November 2019, right? Mm-hmm. And so we were doing great, and then COVID happened, and it was just done. We were making barely, I think, $15,000 a month. Mm-hmm. And, you know, obviously that's not enough to really sustain us. And we had a really strong owner backing us at the time, which helped us to get through it. But he was always just largely focusing on the fact that, okay, let's market, let's be flexible. And so we did. And that's why we still have the majority of our members that joined us during COVID still with us.
Yep.
So, I mean, it takes a lot. It takes a good, strong team working together. Yeah.
So if you're starting a business, you know, a lot of people have that misconception. It's all on me. And a lot of CEOs, they do that, right? Like, that's what happens. I for one, right? Like, I'm a CEO. I'm now a double CEO. I feel like I'm a double black belt, you know, and like, so a double CEO. And one thing I will teach all CEOs is you aren't the business. Your team is, right? And if you can't nurture and grow your team, if you can't nurture and grow even your contractors, and believe it or not, that's an issue a lot too, because people say, well, they're a contractor. No, they're part of your team. You know, they represent your business as well. We have contractors that we also reach out to, and vendors. All those people are part of your team. If you treat them right, they help you grow your business. And people don't understand that. It's a relationship. Just because they're not an employee does not mean they're not a part of your team, you know?
No, I mean, honestly, and that's largely why we've seen so much success, is because we have changed a lot of our vendors. And it's made a really big difference. Like, for example, we changed our printing software, right? Where it was very clunky. It was very difficult for our members just to print. And with how we changed the software, it's become really simple, where all they have to do is just Control P. That's it. And so that's...
Well, they got to put a code in, but...
Yeah. To go and retrieve it. Yeah. But at the same time, you know, we made it a lot more simplified. They don't have to do it every single time. And so we've really tried to make it more user-friendly and make it more functional for us in the long run.
Right. Yeah, and there has been a lot of changes in NuvoDesk, and I think even I know the members know this as well, and it's a good thing. Like, I think Rolando has been here for a little bit too, and he's seen so much changes in the last 6 months, and it's like quick, right? Like, I don't even think Rolando's like, how do I keep up with these people, right? And
you guys definitely keep me on my toes.
Hey, that's what happens, but you've got to, you know, business in general, right? Let's get off the marketing train. Like, business in general, you have to think on your feet in order to grow a business. You have to figure out formulas, and once that formula starts to work, all the pieces, right? It's not just one formula. I mean, I feel like I'm taking calculus up in here. You know, I have all these different formulas, and you have to fix each one of them, right? And so, yeah, wouldn't you agree?
I definitely think so. I mean, for us, we're a customer-based business. If we weren't doing things in order to keep our customers happy, they wouldn't stay with us. They wouldn't be still here. I mean, we don't really have a lot of turnover. We don't really have a lot of lack of retention. We have a really strong retention-based business at this point, and it's largely because of how we are. And that's really our formula, is that we are here for the members. We're here for our guests. We're here for them, to show them what we can provide to them, and we work really closely together to make sure that they get exactly what they need.
That's funny. You know what's funny about this, Rolando?
What's up?
You know, this entire conversation goes back to the customer journey, that pyramid and flywheel that we've created here at Advent Trinity.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think Madeline knows about this, right? But there's 5 points to marketing. Okay, the first one is awareness. Do people know you exist, right? That's where Google comes in play. Like, people are finding you on Google. The second one is engagement. Do people like what they see, right? The third one is conversion. They become members. What you don't realize is that you're a part of the marketing plan. Delight. If you don't satisfy the customers, they don't get into the next stage, which is advocation. They don't bring people. They don't hear the good reviews. They don't give you referrals, right? And a lot of things is, hey, you guys have a lot of satisfied. You must be doing something right because you guys are packed, right? Well, that's the advocation part. Believe it or not, when people walk around the co-working space, if it was empty, you wouldn't have a lot of members to advocate for it. And when you have advocation, what happens to the price?
We see it go up.
It goes up, right? Because value, right? And that's like, wow, I get all of this and people see the value now. People don't fight for now the regular prices. Before they were fighting because of COVID, obviously, but, but now it's like, okay, makes sense. Look what everything you got. Look at what we provide. We would not be a full house if we didn't care about our members, and that's what we're going to do for you. You aren't just getting a building. You aren't just getting an office space. You're getting a team.
Yeah.
We have a great member here, Deaf Bible Society, right? Shout out to them. I want to get them on the podcast. You're going to help me do that.
They're amazing. They're a really, really good member.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of them.
Yeah.
So, what did they say? They had a testimonial for you, and I don't even think the testimonial is, I don't have to do building management. Guess what? Delight, ding, ding, ding. And that's what keeps them around. You have those 5 components of marketing, and if you aren't listening or following us, go to our website. I have a free course on that. It's called a Customer Journey. Take it. It's free. So, we're running out of time here. It was it was awesome to have Madeline here, and it's always good to have somebody who has worked with us and had some success with us, right? And because now it's like, a lot of people were like, well, you guys market. We want to hear about your customers, what you've done for them. And you're a prime example. You guys went from 30% to now 93%, you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that largely has to do with us also getting the right team in place. So we had a pretty big turnover when I first started, and, Brian and I both took over, and it made a really big difference because we both have very similar mindsets, but coming from different directions, and so we were able to get it to where it needed to be.
Yeah, well, thank you for giving me, it's not often do I get credit for anything here, so. Well, I just want to say thank you to everybody for joining us here at the ATMA podcast. We definitely thank you for listening to our podcast. I'll be honest with you, I have no idea who's going to be our next guest, and I'm not going to announce who our next guest is, but keep in touch. We will have somebody here next week. We want to say thank you again to our sponsors, of course, NuvoDesk Coworking for providing this awesome podcast room, and we also want to thank BFF for sponsoring this podcast. So, once again, my name is Brian. I'm with Advent Trinity Marketing Agency, and we will see you next time.